We're going to start on our backs today. Your legs can be however they're comfortable for you. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Otherwise, just try to keep your eyes still and undistracted. Let's drop our attention into the feeling of the breath in the belly. If it's helpful, you can place your hands on the belly, or you can just leave them at your sides if you can easily feel the breath without the hands. And letting the breath come in really deeply so that you feel the breath spreading the walls of the belly out as far as they'll go. Feeling how the belly relaxes back toward the ground as you exhale. And then after the belly takes the next breath, carry that breath up into the ribs. Not to shortchange the part that goes into the belly, still breathing fullness into the belly, and then just adding on, finding space higher up to breathe in more. If it helps, again, you can place your hands there on the ribs. Maybe one hand on the belly, one on the ribs, or leave them at your sides. So there's like two humps. First, the belly rounds, and then when that's complete, the second wave of breath comes in and lifts and expands the ribs. The exhale comes out of the ribs first and the belly last. Now we'll add on one more time. Breathing into the belly, breathing into the ribs, and then taking the breath all the way up to the chest. Adding a hand if you need that to guide the breath. Relaxing the hands by your side if you don't. Just as before, the breath will come out first through the chest, then the ribs, and the belly last. Letting your attention track the flow of breath in each of the three sections as it comes in and as it goes out. If you have been using your hands, see if you can rest them beside you now And continue this 3-part breathing, using your mind to help the placement of the breath, your intention. Without changing anything in the breath, if your legs are not straight, straighten the legs. Notice if straightening the legs interrupted your breathing or your attention. One of the things we're practicing is to be able to breathe fully, stay mindful of our breath, and do all the other things that the postures require of us. So it feels like a multitasking, but it's actually a unifying. It's the mind and body coming together in wholeness. Noticing the interrelationality between the body, the breath, and the mind. Bringing the right knee into the chest, taking it with the hands, and flexing the left foot. Feeling the same breath, perhaps showing up in a different way. Just like a cup of water doesn't look the same when it's in a cup versus when it's in a balloon versus when it's in a flask. Whatever shape we create and fill influences the shape of the breath, the fullness of the breath, the experience of the breath. We can just stay interested in that relationship. Maintaining the intention to breathe fully. And then we'll bring the right hand inside the right leg and around the bottom of the foot, and then lift the foot up so that it's parallel to the ceiling. And then reach the left arm overhead, reaching away from that flexed left foot. Sometimes just that reaching helps lengthen the breath. See your own experience, though. Let the weight of the right hand be nice and heavy on the foot, dropping that right shoulder down. How is the breath here? Where does it go? And then we'll bring that left arm out to the side and open that right leg out to the side. Maybe you can hold on to the foot still, but probably many of you will need to hold on to the leg somewhere else. We really want to try to keep the leg out to the side. So straight out to the side and higher is better than lower to the ground, but farther away from you, kind of wanting to maintain the leg in a right angle with the torso. And you can support the leg with the hand below or above, Whichever it feels like, it lets you let go into that hand a little more. And turn your head to the left. Explore the fullness of your breath. And as our postures become more challenging, we add a new layer. So we were mindful of the breath, breathing, and the body. And now we're also going to stay mindful of the state of our mind, whether we become resistant, whether we become aggravated, whether we get into judgment, whether we find ourselves simply opening and enjoying the experience. Just noticing the reactivity of the mind in relationship to the sensation. Or maybe in relationship to me, maybe you're just like, all right, shut up already. Let me just stretch. That's fine. Just to be aware of the irritability in the mind. That's part of the yoga. And then we'll take that right leg straight up in the air, clasping the hands behind the back of the leg. We'll flex and point the foot. And then hold the flexed position. The other foot is still flexed. We haven't let go of that. And then we're going to take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, we're going to draw the leg toward us. Some of you may like the variation of also lifting the head toward the knee and sliding the hand up the leg. If you're doing that variation, I encourage you to relax the shoulders down and maybe get a small bend in the elbows so you're not creating tension. Also, if your head is lifted, don't look up to your foot. See what that does to your neck? We want to keep the neck nice and long. So your gaze is forward, even if your eyes are closed. That's kind of the direction you're facing. Now, what happens if you deepen the breath even more here? Take an inhale and then take a second inhale, adding on to the inhale. And then really slowly exhaling the air out. That slow, long exhale creates a relaxation response in the body, and all the stretching that we do is just coming out of that relaxation response. Good. Now we're going to take the left hand and cross it over to the outside of that right leg, bringing the right arm out to the ground beside you, and then steering that right leg over to the left without lifting the hip off the ground. So we don't want to go so far that we're twisting or rotating the pelvis. We want to keep the pelvis flat and neutral and just move the leg. Now you can take the inner edge of that right foot and angle it down toward the floor, facing the outer edge up. Seeing if the leg can continue to drop over to that left side. Maybe using your abdominal muscles to keep the hip grounded. Keep the pelvis on the ground. One more breath here. And then we are going to take it into the twist. So go ahead and let that leg come all the way down to the ground, keeping the leg straight. If you're able to grab hold of the big toe, you can do that. In any case, you want to draw the leg up toward that left shoulder. And then we'll slowly roll the head to the right and take a deep breath in to the chest. And then try to relax the right shoulder down onto the ground. Breathing belly, ribs, chest. Relaxing with the exhale. Release your left hand. Lift the right leg, rolling back onto your back. And then slowly lower that right leg down with control. Staying with your breath. Once the leg has come down, relax both legs. Feel your body. Feel your breath. Notice the mind. And then bring the left knee in. Flex the right foot. And then just feel how the breath feels when you have the intention to breathe that same full breath that we began with. But the shape of the body changes the breath in some way. Or maybe it doesn't in your experience. See what's true for you. When you exhale the air out of the belly, see if you can feel the relaxation in the belly, in the pelvis, and maybe that relaxation shows up in the hip and allows the leg to come in a little more. Okay, the left arm goes inside the left leg. The hand comes around the bottom of the foot. We lift the foot up parallel to the sky and bring the right arm overhead, continuing to flex the right foot, reaching long through the right side and being heavy in the left hand, sinking down into that left leg. Breathing the length of the body long. And then we'll straighten that left leg out to the side, holding below or above, or at the big toe if you happen to be able to reach there. Remember, the key is not how low you go, but staying out to the side and then going as low as you can there. And turn your head to the right arm is out to the side. And then we'll lift that leg straight up, clasping behind with the hands, pointing and flexing the foot. Hold the flexed position. The other foot is still flexed. Taking a breath in. And then when you exhale, relaxing and guiding the leg in toward you. Or maybe lifting the head and sliding the hands up. And if you're doing that, make sure you drop the shoulders. Lengthen the inhale so that you can lengthen the exhale. When you lengthen the exhale, see if you can feel for the relaxing. And of course, you can't make relaxing happen. Relaxing is a non-doing, not a doing. But you can be attuned to it. You can just experience it and allow the deepening of the posture to come out of the relaxation. And then the left arm comes out to the side. The right hand comes over to the outside of that leg. And then guide the leg over to the right. Turning your head to the left can help ground that left hip down. Again, we don't want to roll that hip up because it makes us feel better about ourselves that we're going deeper in the pose. You're not going deeper in the pose. You're coming out of the pose. You're not really doing the pose. You want to stay grounded in the pelvis and just move the leg however much you can. That's how you get the stretch. If the hip lifts, then you're just starting to come into a twist and you're not stretching the hip. And again, you can kind of angle the foot down, lifting the outer edge up. Feeling into the breath, into the body. And then take it all the way into the twist, letting the leg come all the way down keeping the legs straight. And then as you roll your head to the left, take a deep breath into the chest and exhale and relax the left shoulder down toward the ground. And then lift the left leg up and slowly lower it down with control. Continuing to breathe. Once the leg reaches the ground, relax the legs, relax the body. Feel the breath. And then bring both knees in, bring your hands to your knees. Rock yourself up without touching the feet to the ground. Kicking the feet up to get enough momentum to come up. And then when you come up, just balancing on your sit bones. And then pull your back ribs forward. Bring your chin down a little bit. And you can stay like this, but if you're feeling like you want more of a challenge, you can extend the arms forward. You can lift the feet higher. You can lift the feet all the way till the legs are straight. You can take the arms up. You can curl the edges of your lips up. It's actually a scientific fact that if you smile, it gets easier. Good. And then we'll slowly release the arms and legs down. Legs are straight. Good. Now we're going to bend that left foot alongside the left hip. So we're going to continue working with the legs as we've been doing so far. Okay. Now, for some of you, this may be quite a stretch and you don't need to go any further. I am, however, going to show you the next levels. So you can lean back and come onto your elbows. And if you can do so without the buttocks coming up off the ground, you can come all the way onto your back. If doing that just lifts the knee all the way up into the air, then you're not actually serving yourself. We want to keep the knee down on the ground. And if you're on your back, you might also bend that right foot and place it on the ground. And then push into it to help tuck your tailbone under so that your back can lengthen and you're not really tweaking your back at all. You can bring your left hand to your left heel and push away from you to deepen the stretch. If your right leg is straight, you might want to bring your right arm overhead. and lengthen just to help you feel like the breath is long and deep. The more you tuck your tailbone under, in other words, aim it for your pubic bone, the deeper the stretch. If you're on your back, then you can stay there and bend the right leg if it's not already bent. And then we're just going to release that left leg and place the left ankle on the knee. If you're not on your back, that's fine. Stay up and then place the ankle on the knee. Flexing that left foot. If you're on your back, lift your right leg and clasp your hands behind the back of your left leg, and then also flex your right foot, like so. If you're in the sitting up variation, which by the way is just as deep or deeper of a stretch, I sometimes find it's even deeper, but do whichever one works for you. If you're in the upright version, you can keep your hands on the ground behind you and push into them to bring your chest closer to that left foot, and that will deepen the stretch. Or you may want to just bring the hands around your right shin and pull your ribs closer to your left foot. If you're on the back, obviously your ribs aren't moving and you're just trying to move your leg closer to your ribs. Stay with your breath. Deep, slow inhale and exhale. Feeling into the relaxation. If you're upright, you're just going to release the foot down. If you're on your back, you'll also release the foot down, and then you'll just roll yourself up. And we'll straighten the legs. So if you were on your back, come back up to sitting with the legs out straight. And then we're going to fold that right foot alongside the left foot. Even if you're going to end up on your back, it's nice to start upright and then make your way down. Okay, so maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. Maybe you're coming all the way onto your back, keeping the knee on the ground. Maybe you're bending that left knee, tucking the tailbone. I recommend everyone tucks their tailbone. If the left leg is straight, maybe if you're on your back, you reach that left arm overhead. Maybe the right hand comes to the right heel and pushes away from you. Maybe the eyes can close and the experience becomes less about doing something and more about feeling something. Feeling where there's tension in the body and softening. Okay. Now release the left leg and place the foot on top of the right, release the right leg and place the foot on top of the left leg. And again, if you are upright, feel free to stay upright. If you're on your back, stay on your back. If you're on your back, you're gonna lift that left foot and hands will come behind the left leg to draw toward you. Both feet are flexed. If you're upright, you're gonna be moving. You can't move the leg toward the ribs, so you move the ribs toward the leg. Really flexing into that right foot. Completing the breath, going inside and tracking the breath. Knowing the breath from the beginning to the end. As you soften into the exhale, and there's a letting go, you can see if the stretch can deepen. Okay, and then we'll release the foot off the leg. If you're on your back, you can roll over onto your side. And if you're upright, you can cross your ankles and roll over onto hands and knees. If you're on your side, press yourself up and join us on hands and knees. Coming into a table position where the hands are right under the shoulders and the knees are right under the hips. And we really let the bones in the arms and the bones in the legs sink into the ground. Letting all the weight be in the limbs of the table so that the top of the table can be relaxed. That's the part that we are moving. And we'll start with an inhale, belly, ribs, chest, tilting the tailbone up as the belly breathes, rolling the eyes up as the breath comes up into the chest. Tilting the tailbone down, lifting the belly, dropping the head, rounding the back for your cat pose, arching during the inhale for your cow pose. You can experiment with pushing the ground away from you and seeing if that deepens the posture. Take your time. Let the breath complete itself. And then return to your table, flat back. We'll come into puppy pose, walking the hands forward, leaving the hips over the knees. Hands are shoulder width apart, and you keep going forward until you can't go forward anymore without the hips coming forward. You want to keep the hips over the knees. And then if you're able to rest on your forehead, rest on your forehead. If you can rest on your chin, that makes it a little deeper. Or maybe you rest on your cheek, which is a little bit deeper still. Try to keep the elbows straight so that we're not only opening the upper back here, but really opening the shoulders as well. If you bend the elbows, then it's not quite the same in the shoulders. Stay with your deep, slow breath. When you exhale, imagine that some heavy weight is on your back, sinking you down. Dropping the back ribs toward the floor. If you're on your cheek, turn to your other one. If you're on your cheek, come center. And then we'll walk the hands in, dropping the forehead to the ground. Fold the arms alongside the body, reversing the shoulder stretch. Now letting the shoulders and arms completely relax. Let the arms melt over the outside of your legs. How is the breath now? Extend the arms overhead, shoulder width apart. Lift your seat off your knees. Spread the fingers wide, pointing them straight ahead. Curl the toes under. Take a breath in. Exhale, push into the hands and lift. Pressing forward with the hands. Send your hips back. Press your heels down. Roll the arm bones down your back, like you're deepening the arms into the shoulder sockets. And then push more into the index fingers and thumbs, lengthening back through the sit bones, and then down with the heels. Let your head drop down, let your heart drop down, just like we did in puppy, here in our adult dog, downward facing dog, sinking the chest. Breathing, belly, ribs, chest, maintaining forward pressure in the hands. Press the thighs back toward the wall behind you. And then on your next inhale, look forward and lift your right leg up. Exhale, step the foot up between the hands. Now bend your left knee halfway down toward the ground. Now once you've bent the left knee, you might be able to sink your hips down a little bit more. See if you can drop the hips. Now see if you can keep the hips down as you straighten the left leg by pushing back through the heel without raising the hips. Good. Push forward into the right foot and back through the left heel. And then plant your hands and step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward, lift the left leg. Exhale, set the foot between the hands. If it doesn't come, just help it up. Now we're going to bend that right knee down, not all the way to the floor, about halfway down. And really let the sinking of the hips follow the dropping of that knee. Good. Can you drop the hips even more? With the knee still bent. And now the key is to keep the hips down and start to straighten the leg just by pushing back through the heel. Nice. Stay with your breath. Good. Now we're going to step the back leg forward. Soften the knees, tuck the chin, roll yourself up. Reach up, inhale. Exhale the arms down. Clasp your hands behind your back. Roll the shoulders up, back and down. And then try to lift your hands away from your back. Opening the chest. Good. Notice which thumb is on the outside. And then sink your weight into your left foot. Maintain your gaze on one spot ahead of you and your awareness on your breath. And we're going to lift the right foot. We're going to try to put it inside the clasp of the hands. It's okay if you need to let go of the clasp to grab the foot and then reclasp the hands around the foot. Keep the shoulders rolled back. We're going to start to kick that foot back into the hands, really opening the chest. If you want to challenge your balance even more, take your gaze up. Good. Feel the resistance that the open chest might present to your full breath, and meet the resistance with an even fuller breath. Expanding the chest from the inside with the breath. Good. And release down. Close the eyes a moment. Relax. Inhale the arms up. Exhale them down. Clasp your hands with the opposite thumb on the outside. If you forgot which thumb you had before, do whichever one feels less natural to you now. Roll the shoulders back, puffing the chest out. Try to lift the arms up away from the back. Good. Sink into your feet. Sink into your breath. Fix your gaze. Shifting weight into your right foot. Lift your left foot. Place it inside either your left hand or both hands, and if you can, clasp both hands around that foot. Roll the shoulders back again. And then begin to kick the foot away from the buttock. Really opening the chest And again, challenging the balance if you wish by taking your gaze up, keeping your awareness in your breath. That just steadies the mind, which in turn steadies the body. And release. Close the eyes, relax the shoulders. Let's roll the shoulders a few times. And inhale the arms up. And then bend the knees. Fold forward. Bend the knees even deeper, coming all the way down onto your buttocks. And all the way down onto your back. Tucking the tailbone under, and releasing the legs, shaking them out. Placing an eye pillow on your eyes if you're using one. That might help deepen the relaxation. Arms out to the side, legs a nice distance apart. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth, sinking the weight of the body into the ground, becoming heavy. Inhaling nose, exhaling out of the mouth, releasing the jaw. So the top teeth and the bottom teeth aren't touching. There's a slight parting in the lips, the mouth is relaxed. Relax the tongue inside the mouth. And one more deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, washing away the contents of the mind. Letting go of any thoughts, any images, any fantasies, any memories. Past and the future are gone. Just this moment exists. Letting the mind rest in the present moment by feeling the breath. Letting the present moment be restful by letting go of the breath. Letting go of any effort to breathe. And just letting breathing happen. Just knowing this breath. Feeling this breath. Letting go of this body. Just the breath. Deeply, deeply relax. Letting go. Letting go. Letting go. Breathe into your heart. Move fingers and toes. Reach the arms overhead. Take a deep breath. Stretch long. Hug the knees to the chest, rocking side to side. Feeling the back massaged by the ground. Come center, bring the soles of the feet together, the palms of the hands together. Rub hand to hand and foot to foot, waking up the body again. And then roll over onto your side, resting your head on your underside arm, resting your body in the ground, resting your awareness in how you feel. Seeing if there's one word that describes this feeling. And then throughout the day, you can just say that word to yourself and use it to summon up this feeling as you may need it. And slowly make your way up to sitting any way that you're comfortable. Sit bones sinking down, head lifting tall. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale the hands together at the heart. Inhale the heart up to the hands. Exhale, shoulders relax down. Inhale deeply, breathing in from bottom to top. Take it all in. Let it all go. Drop the chin to the chest. Namaste. Thank you.